Dun-dun-dun. This is our 76th episode of Mastering Local Marketing. If you don't get that reverence, that is, I think, the Music Man. 76 trombones. And are your emails polished works of art or stripped down messages that feel like they came straight from a friend? The format you choose can impact whether your message gets delivered, opened, clicked, or ignored. In this episode, we explore the pros of both fully designed HTML and then plain text emails. You'll discover, quote, 1, which one builds trust and increases the chance of deliverability. Number 2, when branding matters, one is clearly the answer. And number 3, why time and effort might push you one way or another. Whether you're running a local shop or managing a growing customer list, this episode will show you how to stop guessing and start sending emails that truly connect. The main man of the Mastering Local Marketing podcast is Matt Hansen, a digital marketing professor and one of the pioneers in digital marketing going back to the 1990s. Matt, thanks a lot.
Thanks for dating me. I appreciate that.
And I was on the way in, and I'm telling the marketing department out here that if we're going to do this podcast, please get some sort of free advice from the digital marketing guru as he leaves after the podcast, because we're starting up our own newsletter. I had no idea that that's what we're going to talk about.
Yeah, it's the psychic part of me that comes in every once in a while.
And you sit down and you go, oh my God, every time I come in, it's like you guys are already working on that segment that I'm going to talk about. And then I realized you're right.
Yeah.
And I'll just tell you that we do all these games all weekend long and have all these things going on. And then people are like, well, what's coming up? What'd you do? So we're basically going to do a summary newsletter that's going to start next week. So this is very timely. First of all, explain to folks the difference between HTML and text.
Sure. So HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language, which is basically just computer language to build pretty looking websites and emails and things like that. So I apologize for the voice today. I'm getting off of a cold last week, and you still hear it, and lots of traveling yesterday down to Raleigh and all of that. But when we talk about HTML versus a traditional kind of text email, the emails that you send on a daily basis to your friends, to your family, to all, to your coworkers are just text, right? So you type text in there, you send it, off it goes. Nothing pretty, no images, no layouts, none of that. From an HTML standpoint, what we're doing is we're creating a much prettier version of an email that goes out there. And there's been this argument back and forth for years, and it continues today. And it was all about authenticity and how it looks. And there's a bunch of different websites out there, that will show you beautiful emails that people send. And then there are other people out there that will tell you that, yeah, that's great, but, this and that, it'll get flagged and all these other things, right? So there's this ongoing argument, and I think really what it comes down to is a variety of different characteristics, different things that we need to talk about today. And you got to figure out what is right for you. So is just simply sending out to your list a text message, or not a text, or an email message in text the way to go, or are you trying to highlight, showcase product and all of this other stuff? So it depends really kind of on what you're doing, but we'll get into those things today.
So we are recording this podcast live on AM 1230 1047 and on the TuneIn app. Also, we are live on YouTube. You can go to WJOB 1230 on YouTube, and you'll be able to watch us live and comments or whatever you might want to do. You'll also be able to find it afterwards. If you want to catch this podcast anywhere you get your podcasts, Apple, Spotify. And we appreciate people that are picking this up in other countries, and that's really kind of cool. I don't know why it's so popular in Australia, but it is. And we appreciate you folks finding us, because the principles of local marketing go across basically all markets there are. So we're deciding right now, are you guys listening to this? Yes, okay. We're deciding exactly this.
Okay.
I prefer just text it, give them a link to the video highlight for the football or the volleyball game, and then just tell them what we did and where we're doing next and how many people watched and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And they're like, oh, dude, nobody's going to look at that. We want to make a nice email. We got a guy, AJ Preboy. He's up at Carthage College. He was an intern. He handles our emails. He is never going to let us do a text email. But I prefer them.
Yeah.
And what's the argument?
Oh, there's a million different ways you can go with this. But let's go back to the previous episode that we had, that we did last week. And it was talking about mistakes that we had made in the past that led us to the future, right? So we talked about the digital, or not digital, direct marketing. Sorry, brain's a little foggy today. Direct marketing mailer that I was doing, an 850 piece, and the control group, which was 8 pages of content. And then I was going to make this pretty one, right? And it got absolutely destroyed. So I think what you were asking me here is what's going to win, and I can't tell you that. I can't tell you which is the better option. But what I can tell you is you have 2 options. You can make a pretty one and you can make a text one.
You guys hearing that? This is A-B, all right? A-B. Do one my way and then do one AJ's way, and then we'll test them. How's that sound?
Yeah, I mean, that's essentially what you should do, right? So, you've got this pretty one that you put out there, and then you have this text one. Same exact links and all of that. And you're not measuring open rates because open rates are a little janky anyways, given with the Apple.
Apple's algorithm and
the iOS system and what it does. But so you just compare your click-through rates and kind of see what's performing better. And quite honestly, if they're equal and you prefer a text one, then save the time and just do the text one, right? So
way less. In my mind, it gets flagged less too.
Yeah. So I've noticed this over, and it depends on the platforms that you're using, right? So a lot of the companies that I deal with they're on Constant Contact and MailChimp and kind of all of those different.
We're on MailChimp.
Yeah. So email service provider that you pay for. To understand what they are doing, they send out millions of emails every single day from their servers. And when that goes out, the servers are identified, right? So if you're being sent from a server that also somebody that typically doesn't pay attention to their email list and spams people and they get a lot of spam reports, what it does is it starts to flag that server, right, where it's coming from. And so what we try to do when we use those services is figure out what's the easiest way to get, deliverability and all this other stuff. But when you start to code, think of it, right? Like if you're in your inbox, if somebody sends you HTML code and it doesn't render into make it look pretty and you just see the code, you know exactly what that is, right? That's HTML code. What do you think the email service or the email providers are seeing as well, right? They see that come in, they know it's coded up, which probably means it's promotional and all this other stuff. So depending upon a variety of factors, I don't want to go into all of them today, but a simple text email many times will make its way through to an inbox much easier than an HTML one.
You guys hear that? The text email gets there proportionally more than the pretty HTML-based email.
I think we need to bring them in, just bring them on the...
They're talking way too loud, so the whole marketing department is out there. And then I ask them, hey, did you guys listen to that? No, we'll listen to it later. Never listen to it. No. But anyways.
Again, if you send an email that's text, you can't get fancy. I mean, you can get fancy with it, but you can't, it's visually not fancy. But you got to ask the question, is it coming from you? Is it coming from a company? There's all these different ways to look at it. Are the expectations on the flip side to see visually this stuff, right? So your customers are probably not looking to see images in the email. They're wanting to click a link and go watch some video from a game or whatever it may be. If I've got an e-commerce brand and we're launching new product and here are the 6 new products that we just launched, nobody wants to click on each one of those and go over just to check them out. They want to see them in an HTML layout that they can visually see it right there. So it really just comes down to what you're trying to do, who your audience is, and all these different things. But I've noticed originally we were in text, then we moved to HTML, and now there's a push back to text. And I'm seeing a lot of that more in the consulting side, where it's trying to be a little bit more authentic, like this is me talking to you, not the corporate business side. So, if you're looking at it from that standpoint, from your sports network, are they trying to hear from you or Sam or whomever, right? Or is it coming from the network itself? So there's a variety of ways to look at it, but we can look at deliverability numbers and all this other stuff. I mean, 100% of your emails are never going to be completely delivered, and some of them are going to end up as spam regardless. But even me to this day have issues with HTML emails that I'm sending and trying to fix them and get them through sometimes. Just based on the vendors that I'm using and some of the other stuff that we're doing with the content. But
Are you moving to text more? Or is that just the market in general?
I am moving to text more on the consulting side, not with my clients that need to showcase things in their email, right? So again, I'm going and looking at it from that standpoint. Is there a right or wrong answer? I would say both of them are fine. It's just, realize that if you're doing something on HTML, you're probably a little bit more inclined to get flagged. So make sure that you're checking those types of things to make sure that your click-through rates aren't dropping, or because again, we can't really look at open rates. I hear open rates all the time. I just, like I was sitting down at Rally yesterday and talking with different people about their digital marketing, and I start talking about open rates. I'm like, okay,
To me, that's like talking about customer acquisition cost. It's so subjective, it means nothing. But anyways, open rates is not the thing to look at. Your click-through rate is the better gauge of what's going on.
Yeah. I mean, if again, if you're sending messages to people and they're not clicking through to what you're trying to get them to do, you're failing anyway.
So let's talk. All right, say you do want to send an HTML text, and I'll give you an example. I'm looking to buy a pair of jeans from Land's End. That's basically where I buy all my clothes. Every couple of years, I buy a new pair of jeans, and I looked on their website a couple times. So all of a sudden, I'm getting all these emails, right? And I have noticed that some of them are just pretty simple. Like, hey, if you go right now, we'll give you 10% off. Just click right here, and you click on it, it goes right into the jeans. It doesn't have the big HTML massive email that they will send that always goes to my spam.
Right.
And I like that. I go, man, I don't like that you're following me everywhere I go, but you see that I'm looking for a pair of jeans. You sent me that link. You gave me a 10% discount on it. I'm very happy with that. And I'm even more happy that it was just that little message and no pictures, nothing else. It's really actually pretty good marketing.
Yeah.
But if you want to make that big HTML and you've got products you got to show, let's say you got 5 new products you got to show. What are your tips to making the HTML email?
Well, I mean, you're talking about Land's End. It's funny enough, Land's End used to be one of my clients, and we used to do the email. We provided the email.
I like their
platform.
color scheme.
Yeah,
it's kind of a grayish white thing, and they don't overdo it except for the actual clothes that are shown. Right? So let's talk first about, all right, if you're going to do, like, just say Land's End. Let's use them as an example. You're using Land's End, and you're going to brand them, and we're going to take a short break here. Let it roll. Go ahead, get up and walk around. There you go. We are live on the radio, so Matt Hansen, and you know what, to know something? I almost bought a big bag of cough drops. Hunter Lorenzik, in that drawer down to your right, is there still a bag of cough drops in there? If there is, can you give one to Hansen? There should be some. They're in one of those drawers. He certainly needs one. So I can't stop talking, but you need to cut all this out, right? And including when he started coughing. Nothing? You don't see anything?
Fall is all about cozy comforts, but when you're prioritizing your health, it's easy to feel like you're missing out. With Hero Bread, you can enjoy all your fall favorites because they're made with Hero Bread sliced bread loaves, tortillas, bagels, dinner rolls, and more. Try their all-new Hero Noodles with 12 grams of protein and just 80 calories. So skip replacing every carb with cauliflower and indulge in your breakfast, lunch, and dinner time favorites while still hitting your goals. From breakfast bagels and meal prepped enchiladas to mouth-watering burgers and cheesy noodles. You won't believe Hero Bread's options have 0 to 5 grams net carbs and are high fiber from the taste and texture. They've even got small batch drops of indulgent favorites like the popular Hero Croissant. And right now, Hero Bread is offering 10% off your order. Go to hero.co and use code FALL25 at checkout. That's fall25 at hero.co. All figures are per serving of Hero Bread. Contains 2 to 18 grams of fat per serving. See the product nutrition panels on hero.co for more information.
All right, there it is. So, I could just sing a song for a little while. You know what song I sing to my grandson when I'm walking around? I can't probably do that. It's probably a little inappropriate. I sing Silent Night, and I sing a Who song to him that he really likes, because every time I'm walking him around, he's yelling, "Mama, Mama, Mama." So somehow it led to Mama and the Squeeze Box song, and it's inappropriate, but still funny. Walking around, and he's going to grow up one day, and he's going to be somewhere, and they're going to play that song, and he's going to go, "Man, I know that song. I don't know why." All right. You got a cough drop in?
I got one now. Yeah, sorry. I knew as soon as we got on live, I'm like, oh, here we go.
We are live.
I know. Well, that's what I meant, all right? So, you got that little tickle. It's been
So
there
mark
for a
the
week.
spots so you can go back and cut it. Adriana doesn't need to cut it all the time. You can cut it, all right? There you go. So let's we'll
So
do
we were talking.
No, we'll do some quiet so she can see the end of it, all right? So the pros for HTML lead back to the branding.
Mhm.
Explain that.
So if you are, I had this conversation yesterday with a company. They were talking about branding and how they were building all of these different things, right? When you send your email or when you send any kind of marketing out, it should revolve around your brand. You should always see
You guys
this.
hearing that? Always come back to the brand.
You should always have your brand, right? So it doesn't matter if it's email. It doesn't matter if it's a conversation that you're having. It doesn't matter if it's a business card that you give to somebody. Each and every instance that you provide where you are interacting with a potential customer or an existing customer should be some kind of branded piece. Should be on point every single time. So when you do email, if you are very visual, if you have lots of wonderful colors and, you got this logo that is very, pops and all this other stuff, yeah, you should have branding in there, right? So HTML allows you to do that. If you are, let's say from my point of view, if you're somebody that is having a conversation from a consultant point of view and you're sharing information with different people, do I need the branding? Probably not, right? Because I am the brand of who's talking to them, right? And it's me. I'm a human being. I can build a logo of myself if I really wanted to, but it doesn't make, a whole bunch of sense. So when you see a lot of coaches, consultants of those natures, they don't necessarily need the branding part of it. From Land's End and what I know about them, I mean, if you've ever been to Dodgeville, Wisconsin, it's this enormous complex. They have their own doctor and dentist and everything else. I mean, it's just huge.
It's kind of like, on a mini scale of going to Google's campus, which I've been to.
It's exactly the same thing,
Yeah.
right? They put countless time and effort into their emails that go out. We spent, I kid you not, probably a week implementing one thing for a back-to-school email that was going out, and it was just coordinating and making sure that everything was kind of working together. So, going back, how important is branding? if it's important to you, it needs to be in your email. If it's not important to you, if you don't have this brand that is really kind of that you're proud of, that you know, whatever, or you don't need to do that, then, you know, go with a basic text email. You know, it's fine.
So when you're doing the HTML pretty email, how important is it to have some sort of interactive element that, you know, a button?
So, again, we're looking at click-through rates, and if you don't have a button in there or some call to action, you're not going to see any reaction, right? So I've sent emails, announcement emails, which are great, but I didn't have anywhere to send them. So when you look at it, it looks like it's a horrible email because you have no click-through rate, but there's no button in it. There's no call to action in it. If you really want to measure how well your email is going, you can't look at open rates. So you got to have something to, you know, click-through rates and what's important and all that, right? So from this standpoint, if you don't put a call to action in there, you don't put any links in there, you don't put any tracking in there, you have nothing to compare to, right? So you don't know how well it's doing and all that. So always make sure that you put those call to actions in there.
So let's switch over to the text email. The text email, we've gone through a lot of it, less likely to be caught in spam filters, that kind of stuff. The message, though, is especially from your consultant side, and I've seen a couple of your consultant emails, they seem to be much more personal. Mm-hmm. Almost like it's almost a personal email. How do you create that feeling?
It's authenticity. You know, it's email is, I don't want to put this, it's personal. And it's a two-way communication between two people. What most people try to do is they will they'll send an email and it's just a mass advertisement. And the problem with that is there's no personalization, there's nothing, like it's just another email that comes through. From Land's End point of view, I guarantee you they know exactly what you buy, which is why you get exactly what you get in your inbox. So some of the clients that I've worked with in that same platform will have 55 different variables in their email to target you exactly for what you've purchased in the past, what they know you're going to buy, and all this other stuff. So it's really interesting because that is a HTML email that goes out, but it's personalized. Now, not a lot of us, not a lot of the small businesses out there have that opportunity to do that. So what makes more sense is, excuse me.
Are you okay?
I'm dying.
Do you want to?
We're good.
We're doing one. We're doing one today. All right.
We're gonna make it through.
Yeah.
But you know, it's if you don't have 100 million people on your email, let's say you're dealing with 50 people, could you literally send, you know, a nice little email to each one of those 50 people that you deal with? Can you personalize it? Can you bring in some of the personalization? Can we do tax, right? Like, so it really, again, there's a million different ways to look at it, but you got to ask, what are you trying to get across here? So it's not, again, HTML makes things look pretty, but when you get an email from me, it's an email from me, right? Like I'm sending you an email from a consultant side and saying, I'm working on this. Like this is a you and me working together. Whereas if you're selling things online, that's a much broader audience. It's a much bigger conversation that we're really having here. And you're trying to sell something. So there's really, again, just different ways to look at it. But I personally, the smaller you are, the more text-based I would say go after.
All right, there's a rule of thumb. Do you want to, the smaller you are, think about personalized text emails with some links in it so you can measure the click-through rates. If you want something bigger, you have new products. Even, what's the woman in Felpo that just did Frozen Fresh or Fresh Frozen?
The Frozen Garden?
Frozen Garden.
Yeah.
And I know that she's been raising some good capital in the VC markets. And I've seen some of her emails, and she puts those pouches right up on there, a nice color thing, and it's really a beautiful email. That's the kind of thing that if you want to highlight your products and that kind of thing, you might want to go toward the HTML. So I have one final question that we'll be on the end of this. You went to a thing called Rally. Tell
Mm-hmm.
people what that was.
Yeah, so Rally is basically the culmination of entrepreneurship in the Midwest, and it is an event that is run through Indianapolis. And I ran down there yesterday. I woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning, drove down. Mr. Wonderful from Shark Tank was there, and O'Leary, and just it's a really great environment. So you go down and you can hear new startups and their pitches, and there's all kinds of different things going on. And I remember the first year that I went, it was all about kind of seeing the workshops and all this. But yesterday, as you can kind of hear in my voice, I did a lot more talking than listening, and just had multiple conversations with different people. And it was really interesting because they were constantly leading to the next thing, to the next thing, to the next thing. So it's a really great environment. There's a lot of resources, and all they basically keep telling you is talk to people here because everyone is trying to help everyone. And it's funny because the people that put this on, will come to our area, and we had a meeting probably about a month ago, and we all kind of talked about what we were doing in the local environment, which then led us down the path to where we're working with a couple other nonprofits at this point, and it's led down to a variety of new opportunities for everyone. So it's really kind of a cool environment. You learn a lot of things, you hear a lot of new ideas, you see a lot of tech, and that was really fun. But I probably spent a good 5 hours yesterday talking with companies about their digital marketing and what they could do and things like that. So it was really exciting, but we'll see where it goes from there.
So what we're talking about is we're up here in the northwest tip of Indiana on the campus of Purdue Northwest in our studios here, the Strachan Van Til Studios. We actually rent from the university, and it's a highly technical university, and it has helped us grow our own business. But Indianapolis is more of the Midwestern hub almost at this point of venture capitalism, innovation, certainly sports tech and ag tech, and sales with Salesforce there. It has kind of made itself its own innovation cluster. They host Rally Innovate. I did not go. A couple guys from our team went, and they have not returned. And I'm just a little bit curious to see if their voices are as hoarse as yours are right now, because evidently there's a lot of talking going on down there.
Yeah.
So he's Matt Hansen. This has been episode 76. It was the very first time that Matt Hansen's voice was coming and going. If you're listening at it as a podcast, you're not going to hear that. But if you caught it live, you had a couple interruptions, and you were able to push through it. Thanks a lot, Matt, for pushing through this episode.
I told you we'd get through it.
All right, man. Thanks. Until next time, see you later.